Do you have any tattoos today, or is this what you're doing today?
No tattoos today. I work tomorrow, but usually like Mondays we're closed.
Do you go off of like the studio time for whenever you come in, or do you guys like make your own schedule usually?
We make our own schedule, but typically like Mondays the studio is closed. Right now it's just like kind of all over the place.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tattoo Consciousness. This is the podcast that explores the art and culture of tattooing. In this episode, I chat over Zoom with Lena, a New York tattooer known for her beautiful fine line illustrative work. Please enjoy this episode, and if you do, share with your friends and family. Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody. This is Tattoo Consciousness. This is season 2, and this is episode 2, and I'm here with Lena. Would you like to introduce yourself and kind of what style you do and how you got into tattooing?
Hi, my name is Lena. I started tattooing about 5 years ago, and I specialize in fine line and brushstroke styles. How I got into tattoos, I pretty much got my first tattoo, and I was like, I want to do tattoos when I was 18. It was so hard getting an apprenticeship, though.
Yeah, did you start in New York?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, wow.
This was like prior to all those like tattoo schools.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was really hard to get an apprenticeship. Very few people were willing to teach me. Like I went through about 3 apprenticeships.
Yeah.
So prior to those 5 years, I was looking for apprenticeships, like actively in 2 other apprenticeships. But now as a tattoo artist, I kind of appreciate that process a lot more.
Yeah. Do you think that more people should go through that? I know you mentioned tattoo schools, and that's not quite a thing everywhere. I didn't know it was actually a thing in New York.
It's a huge thing in New York right now. Honestly, I do feel like that should be like the case.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just feel like a lot of the new tattoo artists, I feel like I talk like it feels like I don't like this mindset because it reminds me of like traditional tattoo artists where like they're kind of like gatekeeping tattoo skills and things. But now looking back at it, I think it was very necessary. Not in a way where like I just feel like a lot of new tattoo artists, they're not passionate about their work. They only started tattooing for the sake of money, if that makes sense.
Yeah. What do the tattoo schools look like there? I've actually interviewed one tattoo artist, and I think he was originally from Oregon. I could be wrong. This was like a year ago that I filmed this. But he had to go through a tattoo school there because that's how the state regulates it. It was like boom, in and out, like barely an apprenticeship at all. Is that how it is in New York?
I am not sure. I have not seen it. It's just like I've seen, I don't know. I just seen like people who do like $20 tattoos and they just like buy. That's why like New York is so saturated right now. It's like people are just buying tattoo machines and like in that case I feel like it's more money mindset then. They're seeing like how much money tattoos can make and then because of that they pick up tattooing not for the sake of passion but because of money and then you can tell from their work that they're not passionate about their art and then customers can't tell,
Yeah.
so then it becomes super saturated and they're like hey like this person's charging $20 for a tattoo, like they can do the same thing but like reality is they can't.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned like you got your first tattoo at 18, so and you're talking about how it needs to be a passion. What about tattooing drew you to it? Why are you passionate about tattooing?
I think like it gave me some sort of confidence when I got my first tattoo. Oh, look, like it sounds really silly, but I was 18, so I was like, oh wow, I'm so cool now. I have a tattoo. And then 2 weeks later, I got my second tattoo. Um, I think like through my apprenticeships, I also saw like interactions with the artist and the client where like the art really made a huge difference in that person's life. And I think that like drew me more into like doing tattoos. It's like how it makes someone feel.
Yeah.
Like recently I did a promotion called Honoring Grief. And it was pretty much like people coming in to get their last love letters from like their loved ones who passed away, whether it be a dog or a human being. Everybody who sat in my chair like sobbed. Like, wow, like my tattoos can give them a sort of comfort that like no one really can. Like all other people can really say is like sorry for your loss.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear that, how much of a load does it lighten on you? Like getting something tattooed on you that like means something, like I feel like it really lightens something in them.
So do you feel like when you tattoo, the biggest thing that matters is your clientele rather than like the outcome of the tattoo?
I think both matters for me. I think the outcome of the tattoo, I don't know, like I don't know if you get anxiety before getting like doing tattoos. I still do. Like 5 years in, and like I still get anxious before every single tattoo. I think like that part, I'm already in that mindset where like I want to give my client the best tattoo that I could possibly give them. Same thing, like I think like that kind of mindset draws in clientele that are good. Like I have a lot, like most of my clientele are returning clients, but like all of my clientele have been super sweet. They really trust in my work and in me. I don't really have any problems with my clientele. Yeah.
That's awesome that you have great clientele. I know it's dependent on the artist and it's few and far between.
Mhm.
So I wanted to talk about like your process with tattooing. I was watching some of your videos online. You make a lot of social media content, which I'm
Oh,
sure you have to do. I mean, in this modern
oh,
day of age, with it being so saturated in the industry as a tattoo artist, you just need to like make content, unfortunately. But being in New York is like a whole nother ballpark on top of that. So like what is that like for you?
honestly, I hate making content. I wish I could just post a picture of my tattoo and like that be the end of the day. I'm actually like very camera shy. So it took a lot of practice. Like it took 2.5 years to get to this point to be like kind of okay with being on camera. I think a lot of it is just like having someone to help you film, and like I'm grateful that I had a very good like apprentice, also like friends who would help me film and help me edit too, but like also like guide me through the process of editing. And like what I realized, like someone taught me that like people want to know more about the artist rather than the artwork.
How do you feel like social media affects you like mentally? Like you saying you're camera shy and you had to work up to it. I know for a lot of artists it's like a love-hate relationship. It's like don't bite the hand that feeds you, but at the same time it's like sometimes it's very deteriorating and you can get burnout.
Definitely. Yeah. I feel like every time I post, I get scared. It's like if my last video did well in engagement, I'm like, oh, like I have to live up to that. How can I make a video that will do well in engagement, like even better than before? And then when it doesn't, I feel like really disappointed. I'm like, should I delete it? Like what was wrong? I guess it's just like a learning process too. Makes me more scared to post.
Yeah. Are you ever worried about like I've had this issue more with like TikTok and I don't really like doing TikTok. It's such a cesspool, but like negative comments. Are you ever worried about that or how do you deal with like negative feedback?
I don't have TikTok. I don't use TikTok. I only use Instagram because I feel like more social media platforms will drive me insane.
Mhm.
Luckily, I don't really get I don't get any like mean comments at all. Knock on wood. Hopefully, I don't ever get them. But I think like my recent videos, they have been something like more vulnerable and also like in a way giving back to society. Not just like, oh, like here's my tattoo, like here's the final result, like ta-da. It's more like there's like another message behind the video, like something that people can take away from the video.
Mhm.
And I feel like because it has that it has that thing in the background, people are less likely to comment something mean because there's like, oh, I'm doing my best to give back to the world and show off my tattoo. Like, what can you say that is so mean to me?
You talked about like, you have been posting vulnerable videos. I've watched some of your content before our interview. And you talked about like how you think clients want to know more about the artist. What do you think that does for the clients, like connection wise, whenever they come in to get a tattoo from you?
I think it's like building trust. Yeah. Building trust because like you're gonna tattoo something permanent on their body. They've never seen your face. Well, usually when I have consultations with my clients, it's usually virtual. And it's like, okay, you just met me. Like, how can you trust me to do something on your skin that will last you a lifetime? Yeah, social media has its pros and cons. I guess it is building trust. A lot of my returning clientele would be like, hey, can I be on your next reel? I think it is down to building trust.
Yeah, that's super cool. You just mentioned you do like virtual consultations. What does that look like? I think you're the first artist who's ever like said that in
Oh,
these
really?
podcasts. Yeah, I've never heard of that before. That's so cool.
Well, in New York, we usually do virtual consultations. Ever since COVID, like the lockdown happened,
Hmm.
after the lockdown was over, there's like red zones, meaning like there's like after the lockdown reopened, there was areas of New York where like COVID was high and they would lock down those zones again. And because of that, we had to do virtual consultations. It was pretty much what we continued doing. I find it very convenient because I don't have to go into the studio
Hmm.
unless I'm actually tattooing. And it's like the client will just be on call like this and they'll just say like, oh, I want my tattoo like this big. And it's like easier to, it's better than DMs and like emails. Obviously, like in person, it would be more accurate, but I feel like virtual, it saves me time, it saves the client time, and it gets the point through. I think it's really helpful. And plus, it's like free. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's super awesome. What does your booking process look like for people? And like, I've noticed you do Flash, which is like so cute. I love your little Flash pieces. But it seems like you also do a lot of custom stuff. So like, what does that look like whenever a client is going to book with you for that?
So I have repeatable flash for like Friday 13th or like special flash days, but most of my flash are non repeatable. Like it's like one and done thing. Like
Hmm.
each client can book it once and it's like unique to them. But sometimes like I have clients who reach out to me and be like, "Can you draw this as a flash?" And like nobody books it after I'm done drawing it. So I get a lot of custom requests and I like that a little bit more. It's like I can't make up a story for you, but you can tell me your story and I can help you create something. Yeah.
That's super cool. I like that. I love the array of tattoos you do from like you do like really teeny tiny ones which are so hard. Like, oh my God, I have mad respect for you. And then you do like just like these massive ones on like people's shoulders and like
Uh,
snakes and stuff. That is like so cool. You have such a variety. What inspires you to do that?
actually, I always wanted to do the teeny tiny one, but then my clientele just like wanted to go bigger and bigger, and then I eventually ended up starting to do big ones. I do mostly big ones these days. I miss the tiny ones. They're like I really like focusing on a small area. Some for some reason, like even when I was younger in school, I would write super small. I just thought it was really fun. The big ones are fun too. It's just more time consuming. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I just think it's crazy the small ones you do because like with big tattoos, if you have like a minor mistake, it's like, oh, you can shade it out and stuff. Smaller ones, it's like you can't have that error because you can't hide it.
Uh-huh. I totally agree. Like I have to like really slow down. I like hunch over. I'm like this when I tattoo. My mentor is like when I first started tattooing, I was doing like the tiny pieces and I was like this and my mentor was like, sit up straight, you're gonna ruin your back, you're not gonna tattoo for a long time like that. And I'm like, I don't care, I just need to get this line straight.
You talked about going through like 3 apprenticeships. What was that process like for you? And also, what is it like in New York? Because I know since it's not like a federal legal thing, every state is different and dictates the laws. So, what is that like in New York for you guys?
When I started, it was like when I started looking for apprenticeships, it was very hard to find someone who was willing to teach you. The first person I came across, they wanted, so they charge a fee to like learn tattoos from them, which is same as tattoo schooling. But for me, he had offered to teach me for free. He was like, I had a vision and like you were part of my vision and I want you to learn from me. And I was like, okay, I'm so down. And then he just ended up using me as a receptionist and handling social media. Learned nothing, finally gave up. And then the next person, she was the person that I really wanted to get it, like apprenticeship from. Like I had been like knocking on her door constantly and she was just telling me to wait. And she was like, one day she was like, oh, I'm opening my new shop. Like, love if you could come work for me. I can teach you how to tattoo. Obviously, like apprenticeships are unpaid. So I was doing my part time job 4 days a week, and then I would go to her place 3 days a week, from 10 to 10. It would be me cleaning the shop. It was brand new shop, so I would help her set up the website, help her pretty much do everything. And later on, she told me to quit my job and to work at the studio full time because she was like, I don't want to hire another receptionist. You're doing a really good job at this. And so I started working there full time. It eventually slowly became like, hey, you're not allowed to draw anymore. You need to focus on work. And so again, it was no more teaching me. And then COVID hit, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. And then I found another apprenticeship, but that one actually stuck. That one was like, it was so weird because I just reached out to the artist. He was like, come to the shop. And then I thought it was an interview. And then he was just showing me where things were. He's like, see you tomorrow. I'm like, okay, does that mean I'm in? One case before all of this, my friend had asked another artist to teach me how to tattoo. And his response was like very disgusting. It was, what can she offer me? Can she offer me her body?
Oh,
And I was like, what?
that's
So
so gross.
uh,
Ew.
it's so hard to get an apprentice. Like now it's easy, I think. But back then it was so hard.
What would you say to like somebody trying to come into the industry? I know there's such an influx and social media has kind of glamorized tattooing, but I know that there's still people out there who like charge 10K for an apprenticeship, or you'd end up just being like a receptionist the whole time, or they mistreat you. What would you say to like look for an apprenticeship, and what are the red flags you would like stay away from with your experience since you've learned?
I think it's really hard to see the red flags from the start. Either you save up enough money to be able to overcome those red flags, or don't lose your backup job. Don't do it. Don't do the apprenticeship like 100% full time. Like make sure you are making some income in the back. Cause like it was so hard for me to make ends meet during the time that I was in an apprenticeship. I guess the mentor really matters, but I had thought that my mentors were the best people when I met them. So kind of hard. Yeah.
Yeah, the rose-colored glasses thing because you just want to be in the industry so
Uh,
bad.
uh, with my apprentice, though, I had a completely different approach. I was so chill and laid back. He's no longer tattooing, but he knows how to tattoo. He's just having fun.
You said that you've had an apprentice and you had a laid back attitude with him. So, like, what did that look like when you apprenticed him?
I think like when I was learning how to tattoo, it's like, oh, you have to hold your machine in a certain way. You have to do the voltage. Like you have to put it at this voltage. You have to use this needle. And for me, like I really wanted him to have like his own learning process. Cause like even though my mentors told me to hold my machine a certain way, I would hold it the way that I felt more comfortable in. So I would tell him to figure out what was more comfortable for him. And definitely, I didn't hover over him. He would come to me for help, and I would be like, I would give him help when he needed me to. Never made him clean up for me. I did the cleaning myself, but like I did teach him like the sanitation, like how to clean up. And there was like a joke, and I would call him Dirty Hand because I was like, stop touching the things with a dirty hand. But like I think we had a very good like friendship relationship rather than like student mentor type of relationship, and I think that's what really worked. It's just like for him like life is busy now, and he's like he also has like a full-time job, so I get that he's not tattooing at the moment.
Would you apprentice somebody in the future if somebody came to you and was like, please, I love your stuff?
I think I'd be hesitant on that. I for one thing, like the reason why I took him as an apprentice was because I knew he was going to get clientele. Like from his artwork, he was designing tattoos before he like the temporary tattoos before he even like started learning how to tattoo. So I was like I knew for sure he was going to get clientele. And I think like the hardest thing about being a mentor is that you have to take some sort of responsibility for your apprentice. Like you have to make sure that they'll be able to get clientele too. Like they'll be able to afford to pay rent too.
Is it really hard to build up clientele in New York? I know right now, like the economy sucks and it's like oversaturated. And like, I can't imagine being in like such a huge city like that and the amount of tattoo shops and people coming in.
I think it is hard to build clientele in New York City, for sure. I think luckily I had a pretty easy time for it. Had I started now, I think clientele would be so hard to build, but easier for me because I started earlier. But also, despite me having built clientele, it's still so hard out here. I've been guest spotting so much because it is better outside of New York City.
What's it like whenever you go and guest spot, like the differences between New York and other places that you've been?
I think like so in New York, I have returning clients, but they can only get so many tattoos. But going to a new state, I have new clientele and they're like I started guest spotting because I noticed that a lot of my clientels do travel from far to New York to get tattooed by me. And I'm like, why don't I just save you some costs and
Mhm.
like make money at the same time? I'll just fly to them.
Yeah. Do you ever go to any like tattoo conventions and stuff? Have you ever been to one in New York?
I've been to a tattoo convention. I have not tattooed at one.
Yeah.
I think I was still too intimidated.
There's like a speaker playing music here and then across the aisle another speaker playing different music and it's so loud and like just a lot
Yeah,
going on.
a lot of stimulation.
Hmm.
Though. But it looks like a lot of fun. Like, I met a lot of there would be these tattoo artists I'd watch online, because they're so funny. I don't know if you know him, like Johnson or something.
He's the one who does like the church outlines or whatever it is,
Yeah,
like the
and he does
cathedral
those,
outlines.
and he also does the skits.
Hmm.
Yeah, I saw him and I was like, wow, like there's so many people here. It's really like fun with how many people you can meet and like everything that's going on, but it's just like I'm still too intimidated to tattoo there. It's just gonna be a bunch of tattoo artists hovering over my work and like over here you messed up. I'm like, ah.
What's the biggest thing that you've learned over your 5 years of tattooing?
No matter how long you tattoo for, there's always gonna be room for improvement. I think for sure. Like I thought this anxiety before tattoos was only gonna be when I first started, but it lasted me like 5 years. Like I used to think of it as a bad thing, but now I'm seeing it as a good thing. It's like that anxiety is a sign of my passion. That anxiety means that I care.
Yeah. What do
A
you
lot
do to keep
of people
improving and learning?
definitely guest spots have been helping because you meet so many different artists. I guess my clientele really helps too because typically like I do one type of style and then they keep picking the same thing. So it used to take me what 6 or 7 hours to do a dragon, and now it takes me like 3 to 4 hours. It's like you just get used to. It's like practice. Yeah, you just get faster over time, and you get better over time too.
What's been your favorite thing that you've tattooed thus far?
I recently really like brushstroke style. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of like literally like it feels like I was taking a paintbrush and like going on someone's skin. But also like the final result looks so cool. That has been really fun. I've been doing a lot of dog paw prints lately.
Those are
Yeah.
so fun.
Yeah, those are so fun. Yeah. But also like it just I know it holds so much meaning, so like hits a little more.
That's so awesome. I love doing the dog paw prints. They're like they're just such a fun little tattoo, or even cat paw prints, whatever. Something that you wish you needed to work on more in tattooing, like a style that you're just like, I wish I did more or could get better at.
I think like my main thing is finding a style. Because I have a lot of tattoo artist friends that I compare myself to. Their tattoos, like if you see them in the wild, you know for sure. Like you see someone's tattoo in the wild and it's my friend's tattoo. Like I look at it and I know immediately. I'm like, that's from Teddy. My tattoos is still kind of hard. Like sometimes like my clients look return with my tattoo. I'm like, is that for me? I think that's for me. Yeah, it's still kind of hard to tell. And I think like I still have not developed my own style yet.
Really, I think that you have a style looking at your stuff. It's like all cohesive and similar, like the shading and the line work and stuff.
I think that in a sense, but it's just like something that would stand out a little bit more, like a signature. Yeah.
Whenever you're like going to do a tattoo, what's your illustrative process looking like? Like, do you do it in your iPad or I know some people still do tattoos on paper.
So when I first started apprenticing, I only knew how to draw on paper. and then I got an iPad. I spent months practicing on the iPad because like transitioning from paper to iPad is so hard. And then now I cannot. Like I can still draw on paper, but like every tattoo like design has been on my iPad, and like there'll be times where like I'm drawing on paper and I'll like double tap to get rid of.
Oh, that's so funny. That's exactly how whenever I got into the industry, I didn't have an iPad or anything. I just drawn on paper. And you're right, it is like weird. It's
Yeah, it's so hard to use the pens and everything.
There's like a almost like a delay too, like with the iPad pencil with the iPad rather than doing it on paper. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, I'm sure you get it.
Yeah, I feel like drawing on paper, like shading and everything, it's so much faster.
How could a person come into the industry and stand out and develop more of a style, in your opinion?
I think it's hard. It's really hard to develop a style like that's unique. Cause like I went into the industry with the mindset of I want to do fine line. Now it's like so saturated that can't really stand out as much. But I think it is easier to find a mentor if you know what style you want to do.
Would you say to pick a mentor that does the style that you want to do, or just like what is readily available? Because like I was in the scenario where the style I wanted to do, I couldn't find a mentor for. So I ended up having to get a mentor who did American traditional when I did like black and gray.
I think definitely you have to look through the other artists' work because there's a lot of artists who can do multiple styles. It just depends on. I think like my mentor specialized in fine line, and it really helped. There's like little tricks and tips here that like artists who like don't specialize in fine line wouldn't know, and I think like that really helps.
Do you make art outside of tattooing, like for yourself? Like you said, you still draw on paper. Do you do like stuff in your free time that you like don't post, or it's just like you just need to express yourself?
I draw like random cartoons of my friends here and there as like jokes. That and like I think like I made pop sockets at one point.
You make pop sockets?
Yeah, I made pop sockets at one point. I just like I think I started the idea and then like it gave up halfway. I had them all printed already, but I was just like, oh, it's like too small. It's not what I wanted. Kind of gave up there. I made stickers, but that was to promote my tattoos. I don't know. It's just like random stuff here and there, or like I'll have like paint and sip night with my friends.
That's fun. I like that. How do you like decompress and like de-wind from tattooing? Because like, it is like an energy exchange whenever you're doing something for somebody, and sometimes all that energy gets put on us and it's hard for us to like go home and like not feel a certain way. So how do you deal with that?
I think like how I schedule my appointments really help. I know a lot of artists they like to like spread out their appointments so that they can put all their energy into each individual client each day. I like to put all my clients in one day. So typically I work like 3 days a week, but then they'll be full days, and then the other days like I can do my own thing, like hang out with my friends, really relax and chill. It just feels like a vacation after a tattoo. And then like a vacation like prior to a tattoo. So like when I do come into tattooing, I'm not feeling tired. And it's just like when I have tattoos back to back, I have this like adrenaline rush. So like my energy is high until it crashes, and then I'm home for the next couple days. So I'm like, okay.
How many tattoos do you usually do during that day?
Sometimes I'll do like it depends. Sometimes it'll be like 2 tattoos, sometimes it'll be like 4. It depends on the size,
Mm-hmm.
design and everything. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's awesome that you get like 4 days off though. That's super
Yeah,
cool.
oh yeah. It feels more restful, but sometimes I don't know what to do with my time and I'll just couch rot, but I'll come back refreshed, so it's fine.
Yeah. Do you do like booking periods so that it's like less frustrating, or like what does that look like for you?
I am very like spontaneous. My studio handles my bookings for New York City. I handle my bookings for when I go guest spot. But it's kind of like I'll tell my studio, hey, like I'm gonna guest spot for this week. So I guest spot once a month. So they kind of just schedule around me. So I only have to handle that 1 week of booking every month, which is not too bad.
Is it hard like having somebody else book your stuff for you? Because like do you have to have like a constant communication with them? Like I know you said you have returning clients, but like you do a consult before each client, or like how does that work?
I have like a booking link on my account, and then they'll fill out they'll click on the booking link, fill it out, or they'll just email the studio directly requesting for me. And then the studio will help them set up a consultation with me first to discuss their tattoo design. And then once they receive like a quote, they can take their time to sit on it, think about it, and then they would just reach out to the studio, like email them back to book an appointment. Typically, like the studio sees my whole schedule, so it's easy for them, and they know like there's just like a certain like few days that like I have to be doing something else. So they'll block that time out for me and they just schedule around that. I feel like it's very easy for me that way. Like I'm pretty like I don't have to respond to emails because of that.
Yeah, that's really nice because it does kind of. I've talked to a lot of artists about this who like they've end up getting assistants or like they have the studio book for them because it is like kind of sometimes a headache, talking to people for hours and then them not booking or like, it's a lot for tattoo artists to do on top of tattooing and life. How did you end up at the studio that you're at now? Is that the studio that you started at or?
That's the studio I've started at, and I've just stuck around since because they treat me like family.
That's really awesome. I don't know a lot of apprentices. I know that like there's been a stigma of like you have to stay an X amount of years to like give back to the studio for like, apprenticing you, but I feel like that stigma is kind of going away. And I know a lot of apprentices who end up like leaving when their apprenticeship is over. You've stayed because they treat you like a family. Like what are your draws to working at the studio?
Initially, it was because we had a 2-year contract, so I did have to stay there for 2 years. But after, it was just because my boss gives me so much freedom. It's like they do treat me like family. Like on slow seasons where there's like weeks that I don't make much money, my boss will text me and she'll be like, "Do you need some extra money? I can send you some." I'm like, "No, I'm okay," but that was really sweet of you.
Oh, that's nice.
The thought of it is like, hey, like even when it's not doing well, I still got you. Yeah.
How do you feel like you're affected by the slow seasons? Because we're approaching that time. I feel like winter times are always hard. Christmas time, people are buying presents for their families, so they're not really focused on tattooing. What do you do to like make ends meet as a tattoo artist? Because it's kind of like being a server. It's like our money isn't guaranteed.
So last year, what really helped me was guest spotting, and I'm planning to do that again this year. My mindset now is like whenever there's a slow season, I'm going to guest spot because that way I can avoid slow season.
Yeah. Do you guest spot at like the same places or do you guest spot at different places? And do you reach out to them or like how does that work for you?
I typically there's a couple spots that I return to. It's because like I just find it more comfortable to return to the same spots, but this year I'm trying to not hit the same place twice. Do you know Parallax Tattoo?
Mm-mm.
They're like a tattoo studio in San Jose and they're known for hosting guest artists, but they're amazing. Like people there are amazing. You'll never have to set up or break down for yourself ever again there.
Oh my God, for real?
Yeah, it's so nice. I love it. But I've been trying not to hit the same spot twice. Like usually, it's like it's different. It's like sometimes like the studio will reach out to me or like my friend's friend will be opening a tattoo shop somewhere. Sometimes like if there's like a certain place I want to go to, like my recent guest spot in Michigan, like I don't know anybody in Michigan except my best friend, but she doesn't tattoo and I just wanted to visit her. So she helped me find a shop and then I reached out to them and they were really sweet. They let me in.
Appreciate you being on. Would you like to say where they can book you, how they can find you, and all of that information, like where your shop is located and everything?
You can find me on Instagram at princesslena.inc. My studio is located in Chelsea, Manhattan, or Forest Hills. If I'm in your town, you can just DM me.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Tattoo Consciousness. Make sure to follow us on social media to stay up to date. And if you'd like to support the podcast, please make sure to check out my website for original art and prints, as well as sharing to your friends and family. See you next time.